that our daily travel blog?
Well, mine.
Yours?
Mine.
About how you're going to kill me and leave me in a swamp somewhere?
I'm not going to let you off that easy. Are you kidding me? No.
Well, I did get a new rack.
Yeah.
That's cool. Now we can carry the cooler with us. On this one, or get something extra.
Yeah, you wanted on one of those pop-up tents.
Mm-hmm.
Hey. Lizard.
Where's he at?
Up there.
Now Gene with Holopaw Ural let us camp out in his back field here, and we were just in paradise really, out here in the middle of nowhere, trees around us, and plenty of wildlife. Now today we're going to head up to Gene's and drop off the patrol, which needs a clutch and a little bit more work to it, and when we get that up there to him, we're actually going to head out for just a day around. We're going to go over to the snake, I call it the snake sanitarium. It's the Serpentarium, or well, you can read it on the sign when we get there. It was an interesting visit, and then we head out to the coast of Melbourne to have lunch before we come back to Holopaw here to see how the bike is progressing. And we're greeted by Gene's dog when we arrive, and if you haven't been to Holopaw Ural, if you own a Ural or want one, you really should go check the place out. It's got a lot of bikes there on the showroom floor. But I am a little nervous. I noticed my wife has taken a keen interest in one specific bike there. So we leave the patrol, and not too unusual, but my wife rode in the sidecar. It's not where she normally rides at. She's normally riding her own rig. But we got the camera on the selfie stick there and headed down the road to go to the Snake Sanitarium. And I'm just going to keep calling it that because, well, you'll see when we get there. A few interesting shots riding down the road here. A shot of the wheel, a shot of the footpad there. I guess the sidecar monkey gets bored and just has to have something to find to do. But anyway, you can see it there. And not too far down the road, we come up to the, let's see if we can read the sign, the Snake Serpentarium, Serpentarium. They got a lot of snakes here, folks. So, not just snakes, they've got turtles and other reptiles. Serpentarium, there you go, all right. Reptile World there. And what they do here is they keep a lot of snakes, they pull them out and they milk them for the venom to make anti-venom. And we got to watch them doing that. They had a milking session coming up, and he brought out a lot more snakes than I'm going to show you here. They brought out and actually milked them right there in front of you. And I'll have to say, this guy has nerve. I'm not afraid of snakes. I like snakes. I respect snakes. I don't, panic or anything around them, but I'm not doing what this guy's doing. I am not doing that. I'm sorry, I am not doing that. Some of these snakes seemed a little upset about the situation, but surprisingly, none of them were really aggressive. They were mostly just wanting to hide and get back into their containers. And they're doing two things here. They check the snakes over, make sure they're healthy. They milk the venom in them to make anti-venom to save other people. And they also feed the snakes, which is with a syringe and a long tube. They actually inject the food into some of the snakes there. And you'll be able to see a little bit of that. And I noticed it was a lot easier to milk the larger snakes than the smaller ones. You can see here this little coral snake, they're trying to get it to bite and get some venom out of it. And my question here was, what's to stop the snake from turning around and biting you? They've got no gloves on. I actually talked to him for a while after this. And yeah, he said the snakes in general are not aggressive and are handled well and know the drill. They know what's going on and what to do. But also it's fast reflexes, and occasionally he does get bit. I would imagine you build up a little bit of immunity over time, but here they are feeding the snake. They've actually got a tube that they inserted. You can see it there, and they inject the right amount of food for them. And here's the eastern diamondback rattlesnake that they're bringing out. We could hear this guy outside. I was hoping to get it on the video camera, but it doesn't come through. But you can actually hear this guy rattling loud enough through the window that you could just hear it going. And that sound is a very unnerving sound, especially if you're out in the woods walking along and just happen to hear it. But you can see that went quickly. It was easy to milk, easy to get that done. Now this guy, I would say, watching back, he was my favorite. I just love cobras, the way they flatten their neck, that eye on the back. It was pretty amazing to watch him deal with the cobra, and he's just, it's almost like he's hypnotized. And if you watch in the video, you can see him react to movement outside the glass. She moved her camera, and the snake just immediately turns its attention there. There he just struck at the guy through the glass because he moved, I guess. The snake struck out. But again, they get them milked, get a sample of the venom to make antivenom. Now here I am. This is I think this is a corn snake, if I remember right. And it's just amazing to me. I do love snakes. I love wildlife. Bats, of course, doing habitat for bats. And he's tame, is what I said there. He's just a very non-aggressive, docile snake there. We had a great time, and if you're in Orlando, you should really head out over there and check out the Reptile World. It's worth the trip. They've got a lot of other snakes that you can see. Turtles, alligators. It's just a great visit for a good morning or afternoon. Head over there in the afternoon and take a look at it. And we looked around a little bit, explored the place, looked at some of the other snakes that are there. And after that we had to head out. We wanted to go get lunch. We headed out all the way over to Melbourne. Now at this point I'm thinking, as we're riding along, we just turn the patrol in over at Gene's so their mechanic Ken can put a new clutch in it, look through it, see if there's anything else that it needs. And I'm thinking this may be a short trip at this point. We may be headed back home if we get over there and Ken says, things are really, really bad here. But we did make it over to Melbourne. We stopped at a place called Squid Lips. There's actually some really good seafood right out on the water.
And we're going to have a small lunch here before we start touring around a little more. As soon as my wife wrestles herself out of the sidecar, you're going to be ready to get your bike back?
I am more than ready to get my bike back. More than ready. I miss it.
Well, we're in Melbourne, Florida, I think. We came over from Holopaw, grab us a little bit of lunch, see the ocean for the first time on this trip, and then we're going to head back over and finish up with Cecilia's bike today and head out in the morning. I think we're going to go to Naples. We're not 100% positive yet, but that's what it looks like we're going to do. So y'all enjoy, and we'll show you what Squid Lips is, the restaurant we found here right on the water. So we'll let you know how that works out.
And enjoy our attempt at cinematography as we enter the Squid Lips here. A classic scene, walking up to the door, going into the restaurant.
Yeah, I have a Coke.
Okay, buddy. We're following you.
And what's great about this place is you can sit out right next to the water there at the bay. I think this is the closest we were to the water at any restaurant.
Now to find some shade.
Yeah, we definitely find some shade. What do you think?
I just can't think of a better place to sit down and enjoy a lunch, can you?
It's right here at the bridge.
Oh yeah, I can get used to this.
Hey, he's getting too used to the vacation thing. If we order fish, we may have to wait for them to go catch it.
We enjoyed our lunch at Squid Lips. Our server Lauren did a great job hosting us there, and you can tell by the looks of it we had too much of a good time. So we rolled out of the place, overly full, climbed back in the rig, and headed back to Holopaw Ural to see the condition of the bike. And when we got there, Ken had already finished replacing the clutch. Of course, Jean's dog comes out to greet us. You scratch her ear, she's going to stay right there with you. And here we have the old clutch parts. They came out, the new one went in, replaced the little rubber donut as well. It was kind of worn. Need to get the rear tire back on, but before we can do that, it needed a new K28 rear pusher. That one's kind of worn out. And we did have to change the rocker arms on the right-hand side. It turns out that clackity clackity noise on the right-hand side was the rocker arm bearing being too loose. It was actually allowing the mechanism to move up and down by almost 1/4 of an inch, and that was creating a lot of extra play. So we got that taken care of too while we were there. After that, we headed over towards St. Cloud to a little movie theater, and we actually watched Star Trek Beyond, I think it is. Watched the Star Trek movie, my wife and I. I don't think we've been to a movie together in, gosh, 15 years or so, just the two of us. But that's what we went and did, and then we came back, enjoyed a good evening, and got ready for the next day.